The courtroom was cold enough to feel personal. My parents sat across from me, back stiff, eyes filled with the same judgment I'd grown up drowning in. But the moment the judge opened the sealed folder, everything shifted quietly, beautifully, like the slow pull of a trigger. His eyes lifted to mine. "Do they even know what you have?" I only nodded. This was the moment I'd been planning for 10 years. People often assume betrayal feels like fire. For me, it started with a knock at 2:13 a.m. I opened the door and found my sister, pale, trembling, holding a baby wrapped in a thin blanket. No explanation, no apology. "He's yours now," she whispered. Then she walked away, just walked away as if she were dropping off a package. I shouted her name down the street, but she never turned back. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up with a message from our mother. "She says you agreed. Don't make this difficult. He's your responsibility." The baby cried, small, sharp, desperate, and something inside me whispered, "Fine, then he's mine." I tried to believe they didn't mean it, that parents wouldn't hand off their daughter's child like an unwanted chore. But when I drove to their house the next morning, baby in my arms, they didn't even open the door. They spoke through the glass like I was a salesperson. "You're better suited," my father said. "We're too old to raise another," my mother added. That was the moment the truth settled like a cold stone in my stomach. They weren't protecting the baby. They were protecting themselves. Raising him wasn't easy. I worked 2 jobs, slept in 3-hour bursts. Every bottle, every fever, every late-night scream, I handled alone. And meanwhile my sister disappeared into the world. No updates, no postcards, not even a rumor. My parents never asked about him. Birthdays, holidays, nothing. They acted like he'd been erased. But kids grow. And when he turned 10, bright, curious, calling me mom even though I never asked him to, my parents suddenly reappeared. They arrived at my door dressed in their Sunday best, wearing pity like perfume. "We want our grandson back," my mother said. As his rightful family, my father added, chin raised. I laughed, not loudly, just enough for them to flinch. "You abandoned him," I said. "We gave you stability," my mother snapped. "You kept him from us." And there it was, the narrative they'd crafted while avoiding a decade of responsibility. Their lawyer's letter arrived 2 days later. They were suing for custody. I didn't break. I didn't beg. Instead, I went to the drawer where I'd kept every piece of paper from the night my sister left. The hospital forms she'd forged. The social worker's notes. The voicemail she left at 4 a.m. Drunk, crying, admitting she couldn't do it. And then the transcripts from the rehab facility she checked into 3 days later. But the most important piece? The signed, legally notarized document my sister left with the intake nurse. She'd relinquished parental rights. To me, 10 years ago. My parents never knew. They never cared enough to find out. I sealed everything into a folder and wrote one word across the front. Truth. Now here we were, in the courtroom where they expected me to crumble just like I had as a child whenever they raised their voices. My mother sat with a trembling tissue. My father with the rigid spine of a man who believed authority equaled righteousness. They claimed I kept the child away. The judge opened the folder. He read the rehab documents, then the relinquishment form. Then he played the voicemail. My mother's face drained. My father's jaw slipped open. Their world, a facade of curated superiority, was peeling apart in front of everyone. The judge finally looked at me. "Are you prepared to speak?" he asked. I stood, my hands steady, my voice calm. The calm of someone who's lived inside the storm long enough to learn its language. "Yes, Your Honor," I said. "I'm ready." I spoke for 3 minutes. Not dramatic, not tearful, just truth. I told him how they refused to open their door when the baby was days old. How they never called, visited, or sent support. How they let me raise a child alone, while lying to the world about being devoted grandparents. And then I ended with one sentence I'd rehearsed for years. They abandoned him the same night his mother did. I didn't. Silence. Heavy. Final. The judge dismissed their petition without hesitation. My parents didn't speak as they left the courtroom. They moved like defeated statues, brittle enough to crumble. I watched them disappear through the double doors. Not with satisfaction, but something better. Freedom. When I walked outside, my son ran to me. His smile was wide, fearless. Nothing like the legacy my parents tried to give him. "Everything okay?" he asked. I bent down, brushing his hair from his eyes. "Everything's perfect," I said, because for the first time in my life, the truth wasn't a burden. It was mine, and it finally set us free.